Good morning. Good morning, Dr. Ben and team. Today is the 3rd of May, 2022, and I would like for you to come and join me in my herb and plant identification exercise. My first specimen that I'll be introducing is from the rose family. The scientific name, Rosa, and from the family, Rosaceae, from the order of Rosales. This specimen is from the red rose, and the flower of this rose plant carries a certain pattern, and the pattern that you can use to identify from this family is 5 sepals: 1, 2, 3, 4, 5. And also, even though the petals of the rose is curled, it will have 5 petals at each level. 5 petals at each level. So therefore we use the number of petals and the number of sepals as a way or a pattern to identify members from the rose family. Also, there's another pattern of the leaves. As you can see, the leaves from this plant here is a compound pattern comprising of 1, 2, 3, 4, 5 leaflets. Also, if you notice how the leaves are arranged, they're arranged in the alternate way. So you have one here, one here, one here, one here, one here. So this is alternately, they're arranged alternately. And if you look closely at the shape of the leaflets, it is spear shaped and it has toothed edges. The next specimen that we'll be featuring is from the mint family. This mint, locally, it's called the Mexican mint. And it is from the family, the scientific name is Coleus amboinicus. When this plant has a flower, at the moment there is no visible flower, but when it does have a flower, it follows the pattern of having 5 united petals and 5 united sepals. For the petals, you will have 2 lobes being up and 3 lobes being down, and containing 4 stamens, 2 long, 2 short. If you notice, another pattern that you can use to identify this plant is that it carries a square stem. As you can see, the stem is square and the leaves they arrange opposing each other, having opposite leaves. The leaves oppose each other, so they are on opposite side of the stem. And the leaf has a network of veins. It is spear shaped and it is toothed. and the edges are toothed. If you were able to smell the leaves, the crushed leaves, it is very aromatic, which would make this good for a tea or to be used in stews. The medicinal properties of this plant, it's good for colds, constipation application, asthma, headaches, cough, fever, and skin disease. So you could use this plant for those applications. Next species that we'll be focusing on is from the pea family. This is called, locally, this is called gungo peas. Internationally, it is known as a pigeon pea and comes from, and its scientific name is Cajonus cajon. The pattern of this plant, or the flower, as you can see here, there is one big petal called the banner and having two, when this is fully opened up, this opens up as two separate petals called the wing. And this portion here is called the keel. So when this is fully opened up, you will see the keel very clearly, and the two petals here, which is called the wings, would separate. If you notice, the leaves of this plant here is a composite of 3 leaflets with the veins in a network manner. The edges are smooth and the shape of the leaf is spear-like. The properties, the medicinal properties of this plant can be used for constipation problems, cramping, bloating, and to help with diarrhea. The next species that we'll be dealing with comes from the sunflower family or the aster family. Scientific name, Biden's alba, locally called Spanish needle. The pattern of plants from this family is that they're easily recognizable from a distance. And the flower is a composite of many small flowers that forms the disc head of the flower. Each one of these that you're looking at is an individual flower, including the petals, which are also individual flowers, and each one of these produce a single seed. The leaf is a composite leaf comprised of 3 leaflets, 1, 2, 3, which has vein-like network. And if you can look closely, you will see that it is toothed on the edges. And the leaves, they are opposite in arrangement. This plant that has anti-inflammatory, antiseptic properties It protects the liver, reduces blood pressure, and has hypoglycemic effect. The next species that we'll be featuring is from the grass family. This is called fever grass or lemongrass. This plant, there's no flower there at the moment, but when there's a flower, the flower would come up as a brack, and inside this brack you would find the sexual parts of the plant. Your pistil and your stamen will be found in the brack. The scientific name of this plant is a Cymbopogon. This plant is wind pollinated, and the pattern of this plant you can use to identify it is if you notice the shape of the leaves, it's long, well elongated, and the vein network is what you would refer to as parallel. This is a very aromatic plant. Purposes of this plant is that it counteracts fever in young children. Adults can use it as well. And it is a good mind relaxer when it's made into a tea. It has anxiety reducing properties. It's good for circulation, to boost circulation, high in potassium, and it increases urine production. Brings me to the end of my herb and plant identification exercise. I hope you find this exercise enjoyable, informative, and you have walked away with something useful that you can apply. I hope to do this again, and I hope you will join me in my next session. Thank you and take care.